This is Jordan Edwards, and this is the Business Jiu-Jitsu Podcast.
How you doing, Jordan? What's going on?
Everything's good. It's very, very good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Very excited to talk to you about the past couple of months and
Sure.
your brand, Superare, one of my favorite mixed martial arts and martial arts brands.
Thank you.
I have watched you grow this business almost from the very, very, very first day.
Pretty much.
Yeah. When you opened your first store, East Coast MMA in Rockville Center, my office was right around the corner from that location, which you still have today.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember driving to work one day and seeing your brand and saying, "Oh my God, there's an MMA store." Was that around 2011?
That was in March. We opened our doors in Long Island in March 2011.
That's crazy. And you really are an incredible entrepreneur, an unbelievable artist, and you have grown a worldwide brand. Before I even continue, last night I'm watching Dana White's Tuesday Night Fighter Series, which my friend and teammate Tanisha Tennant was fighting on, by the way.
Yeah, for
One
sure.
of the guys has got your Superare wraps on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We get messages like that all the time now. Like we get like people send us screen grabs of different places they see the brand, and it never gets old.
Yeah.
And but Tanisha, she's been great too. I mean, that's her come up has been something fun to watch, just like all the different guys from Budokan, where I know you from.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my gym, I can't say enough incredible things about my gym and the guys that run it, my sensei Nardu and Matt Cully and Professor Akbar, who I think was your first
customer ever.
First customer ever. Is one of my
him and another guy from Longos. They were there when I opened the doors back in March 2011. They were both waiting outside for the first time. So that was like the best thing for me because I didn't know if anybody would come ever. Essentially, I just kind of was doing it. I should preface this though. I have a cool story. So like they were my first customers ever, but the first person to ever step foot in the store that wasn't me or my wife or my dad was Chris Weidman.
Wow.
And stuff, which is pretty cool because he saw because the sign had gone up and we still have like the windows like papered over because we were doing work behind it, but the sign had gone up that it was an MMA store. So he kind of just knocked and peeked his head in, and it was right after he had his first UFC fight. And I recognized him because of the fight. And, and I was like, and he was just like, "Hey, what are you guys doing here?" and stuff like that, and just kind of said what up. And that was pretty cool.
That is
that
very,
worked
very
out.
cool. Well, goes to one of my fundamental lessons in business that I always teach to young entrepreneurs or first-time entrepreneurs, which is you got to have an amazing sign. I mean, you got to.
I don't know if it was amazing, but it just I wanted to make sure it said Fight Shop in really big letters so people driving by, because we are on the highway over there. So people driving by, it would just catch people. I didn't want it to I didn't really get too crazy artistic with it, but I wanted people to know that it was like a store for fighting.
You had a great sign. I will tell you that. I mean, I saw it.
LA has a cool sign. But it worked. Yeah, it worked for the time.
So just tell me a little bit about your come up. I mean, what was the inspiration to start this brand and how's it been over the past 9 years or so, 10 years?
Almost 10 years, crazy, right? So the brand, so after college, like everyone, some people have a plan, some people don't have a plan. And I always knew I wanted to do something that I found personally fulfilling, but I didn't necessarily know what that was. I thought for a while I maybe wanted to be like a sports agent or something because I'm not the talent. Like I knew that much from I'm not going to be like the professional athlete, but I will be like I wanted to be kind of in that world, and and then I was just trying to figure it out. Like I had different internships in like sports marketing places and like PR, and I hated them. It was terrible, and they were. It could have been cool, but I feel like the internship programs, they just really wanted people for data input, and I consider myself a creative person. So that was just like killing me and killing my eyes and like, cause they had old computers and it was terrible. So I needed to figure something out. So I had always, to make money while I did the internships, I would always waited tables. Like I waited tables probably for like 10 years before this stuff just to get money in my pocket. And, I remember, on slow nights, I would always just kind of like try to brainstorm, or I'd read like different book. Like that was probably the last time I ever read a book was like, you'll probably hate me for this, but the last time I probably read a book was when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do and stuff, And so I And I was just like Googling stuff, you know, and I saw something like someone was selling their fight shop in like Oregon. I remember this, like I remember this very clearly. So, and it was, and the whole concept, it was like selling their business on like Craigslist. Like we're just like business for sale, Craigslist, fight shop. And I'd never thought of the concept of a fight shop before. And so I wasn't the first, you know what I mean? But I was like, wow, that's a really cool idea because I love the UFC. And none of my friends really gave a shit about the UFC. So like to make a store and like kind of put my spin on, like I started thinking about it because I was like, you know, places like, not places, but brands like Tap Out and Affliction and all that stuff were so popular, and it wasn't really my style. So I was like, it'd be cool if I could like make a store and curate it like the way I think it should be, because I don't think it has to be like that. And like, you know, and then I grew up in skate shops and surfboard, you know, surf shops and all that stuff in my life. So I was like, it'd be cool to kind of bring that mindset to like a fight store, because I love like the UFC and fighting and all that kind of stuff. So it'd be a place where I can talk about fighting with other people.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that was like the biggest thing. It was like, I was just having a place where I could talk about fighting with people.
Yeah.
That was kind of like there. And then maybe, you know, build it into something, or, you know, it's funny because, you know, we, like you mentioned before, we were East Coast MMA, which feels like that. I mean, it wasn't even, that feels like another lifetime. But what was I going to say? So the reason I called it East Coast MMA was because I didn't know what to call it. Like, it's like picking a name for a band or something. And like, you know, I didn't consider myself a brand at the point. You know, we were carrying other brands in the store. So I didn't want to just give it like, that wasn't the idea to name it something like Superare, because it wasn't a brand at the point. It was just a retail store. And it's for other brands. So I didn't want to be like Long Island Fight Shop or Long Island MMA Fight Shop. I didn't want to be New York MMA Fight Shop, because then I'm like, I always had that like kind of like bigger plans. I was like, oh, maybe it'd be cool if we could be like regional.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that would be great. Like I'll say East Coast, so then all the East Coast people can kind of like get behind the store. And I said MMA because, you know, we'll be carrying not just like stuff for like UFC, like actual like MMA, but like jiu-jitsu stuff and boxing stuff and Muay Thai stuff all in one roof. So I called it MMA, just because I couldn't think of a name. You know what I mean? Like for the most part, and I felt like it worked for the time and like for what the store was at that point. Like it made sense. Because yeah, I never really thought about really building a brand, or just really wanted to have the coolest store.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, you even when it was East Coast MMA, you were building a cult following already and getting a lot of buy-in from the whole local fight community. And I would routinely go and have it, oh shit, I forgot a gi, or oh, I need a rash guard now. And not having to order it online at MMA Warehouse or, you know, one of these sites. Yeah. It's funny because Tap Out is, you know, a shade of what it was 10, 15 years ago. Affliction, I don't know if it's not.
They've all pivoted.
Yeah.
Tap Out's in like WWE, and Affliction's more like motorcycle kind of lifestyle type stuff. And, you know, Tap Out lost their founder, so that made a big difference for like their brand direction.
Yeah.
And stuff, but still, like they were very pivotal about, you know, start making MMA clothing like a thing people wanted, but it still wasn't really like, by the time I came around, it already had kind of like a connotation around it that wasn't like, I wouldn't wear a Tap Out shirt, you know, like, but I respect what they did, but there was a bunch of people that weren't like the stereotypical MMA clothing buyer that, you know, weren't represented, I guess.
Yeah, but you were ahead of the curve, because when that was where it was when you started, and now skate culture look, surf culture look, that is way more of what fighting is. Even athletic, you know, it's a lot of fight wear now is even like, you know, Reebok, obviously UFC just ended their sponsorship with them, or will be shortly for Venom.
Reebok, that's a whole other, we could do a whole podcast on Reebok and MMA.
Yeah, it's crazy. But it's gone more in the direction that I think you had a big part of.
Mainstream, yeah.
Yeah, you are absolutely one of the early influences in making that happen. And I remember when you opened your New York City shop, how pivotal I thought that was. And I said, wow, I can't believe he's opening up a store on the Lower East Side. It's on the Lower East Side, right? Not in East Coast.
Yeah, Orchard Street, yeah.
Yeah, Lower East Side, opening this fight shop. And the stuff that you were making seemed very like it was appealing to people outside of just in the fight community, which I think kind of like
Sure.
MMA was more targeted like gear. And then all of a sudden you have like a fashion brand.
Yes. So the Lower East Side came about maybe 4 years after we opened the doors to the Long Island store. But only 1 year after we did the store, opened the doors to Long Island, I opened the store in Brooklyn, like a small little store in Brooklyn. That was a crazy learning experience. And I know a lot of these like business podcasts always like to talk about people's losses and stuff like. So that was like going to school. So I didn't get like an MBA or anything like that in business, but that Brooklyn store definitely taught me a lot. Good and bad, because I was running a second store. Yeah, I wasn't there all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I was in Long Island most of the time, and so I had to manage employees remotely and buy for 2 different locations and keep track of 2 different locations. And then the gym had its own issues that that we were a part of because of they're still there and they've sorted it out since. But in the beginning, that place was Henzo will tell you, because we were in business with it. I opened the store inside of a gym with Henzo Gracie, so that was, so they had to worry about like the politics of the gym and everything like that too. So I learned a lot, but that store made it possible to open up the city store. And so that was a big, even though it was like a pain in the ass for like the 2.5 years it was open. It was important. Yeah.
I hope you give yourself credit for just that entrepreneurial spirit. I mean, so many people.
Do you know why I did the store though?
Why?
And it's part of it's competitive. Like it's always competitive, I guess. So that gym, they released a flyer. They had a flyer and they had like a blueprint of the store. Oh, not the store, the gym, like the facility.
Yeah.
And on the blueprint, it said one of the parts of the blueprint said Fight Shop. And I was like, no. It's like, because it's a niche thing, you know what I mean? Like what I do is a very niche thing that I can't have other fight shops necessarily. I don't want this all like, now I probably could, like bring them on type of thing now. But like then it was like, no, I couldn't afford to have another fight shop open up in the proximity, because we were getting people in Long Island from Brooklyn and the boroughs and all that stuff. So like, I can't have another fight shop open up in Brooklyn. So let me hit them up and like, I'll put mine in there. Like I'll run it. Because at that time we had a decent reputation already. So I was like, I'll just do it. Like if they're cool. So we did that. Like that was what kind of got me off the pot to kind of make that move with them, even though it was probably a little bit premature for me. I was just like one of those things, just figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I'm endlessly fascinated by, other entrepreneurs like yourself who are comfortable taking those risks and kind of betting it all when you're just scraping it together to make it happen. And I hope that people come to you all the time who want to start businesses or a t-shirt line, and they're like, how did you do this? How did you get all these Instagram followers? How did you start this? And you had the guts.
Well, yeah, thank you. I mean, guts is definitely part of it. You believing in like your vision is very, very important too. Just having like, self-belief and knowing that what you're doing is the right path, I guess, is just kind of having confidence in yourself. Yeah. So I feel like I have good, there are definitely hard days though. Like I would say the hardest thing ever, like even to this day, from when we opened till today, I don't see it as much today, thankfully. And I've trained myself to kind of move past it, but to having like slow days in Long Island, like I would look at that and take it personally. Like I would be like if no one really came in that day, I'd be like, well, that's messed up, man. Like what the hell? Like I'm doing all I can, and if these guys want the store to be as good as possible, then they need to be coming in or whatever. Like it was just a weird like mindset, like and it would be tough, man. I'd be sitting there but I would use that time to work on different things, like because Long Island definitely had downtime. It wasn't like we opened the doors and it was like the city stores, pre-COVID. It was like it was definitely a build, slow build, but like so yeah, I would try to use that time as productively as possible and not just like mess around. Like there was definitely time where I played like video games and stuff like that in the beginning, because we had like the TV set up over there, PlayStation. So I'd mess around a little bit, but I would constantly try to do other projects and think of different things and kind of seeing what other people are doing and whatever. And so that was but just believing in yourself and you're taking risks, like calculated risks are important. Stupid risks, betting on yourself. Calculated risks are important, like you've done with your businesses and stuff. And yeah, like, and then, but talking to and understanding the customer, I think it was important too. Like, not, I wasn't like going to a space where I didn't understand. Like, I feel like I was, like, I felt like I was the customer. Like and then I would constantly be dealing with the different customers. And so I felt like I knew what they wanted. It was just a means of like providing it for them.
Listen, this book is about business jiu-jitsu, right? I'm trying to get at the heart of the principles that govern both martial arts or sports and business and life. And when you go into business, you should expect that you are getting into a fight. It's like thinking that you're going to go into an MMA fight and not get hit. You know, if you think you're going to get into business, there's going to be those days where not a single customer walks through the door. Like you said, there's going to be a snowstorm. There's going to be a power outage. There's going to be issues.
Well,
but
those I understand. It's the days where everything was really nice that pissed me off. The snowstorm and stuff.
In retail business, sometimes when it's too nice outside, that's always bad.
I know. But I never worked retail before I had the store. I worked retail for like a couple months in Abercrombie to meet girls, which I did. I met my wife actually, so it worked out. That's where I met her. I worked at Abercrombie for a couple months, and they fired me because I didn't listen to direction very well, from the sense that like I didn't like the way they spoke to me as like associate. So I would always like I threatened the district manager. I told him I was going to punch him in the face because he was a huge dick. So like I don't apologize for that. So like, but yeah, no, it worked out. So that was my only retail experience. Yeah, there's a lot of on the job learning, and but that changed a little bit with when we opened the city, because then I brought in partners, because for the first couple of years it was just myself doing everything, like literally everything, from sweeping to accounting to designing to ordering, like everything. But now that's not the case. Once we opened the city store, I brought in my brother. Dylan, who has an extensive retail background running multi-million-dollar stores in Manhattan for like Stuart Weitzman and Tilly's. He opened up, Tilly's Roosevelt Field, and ran Stuart. Most recently, before the store, ran Stuart Weitzman in Columbus Circle. He was the top guy over there. So he had like actual retail experience, managing employees and keeping a stockroom neat. Like he would look at my store and just shake his head, the way I did it. And then I brought in my other partner, Pat, who left his job as an investment banker at Deutsche Bank to kind of run the financial side of the business as well. So like kind of, like I still had like input everywhere in that sense, but also they took a lot of, Pat and Dylan both take a lot of stuff off my plate to kind of let me do what I do the best I could possibly do it. Like now my job is completely different. Like what I do now, like on a daily basis, is totally different than anything I thought I would do, but it's everything I want to be doing. So
well, I've been incredibly impressed with your media, your marketing, your video, your actual products. You have an artistic eye. Is that something that was learned, or you picked it up, or you just have an aesthetic? I mean, while you talk about it, I'm just going to pull up and share my screen over here because some of the people who are going to watch this aren't familiar with your brand. But just check out how beautiful this site is. I mean, this is
I shot that yesterday, 2 days ago.
This is world-class photography, world-class product development. It's really beautiful. The partnerships that you've done through the Bruce Lee license, through the Ali license, the partnership you did with Dope.
That's cool.
You really picked it up. I mean, it was.
I'll just wait. Just wait. That's like the.
Yeah, it was a privilege to watch. I mean, you've known I've been a massive fan of yours since the day one, and grateful to have a shop that's supporting our community of martial artists. But to have somebody doing it here locally at this level is really special. So can you just kind of talk about when you from the time you started making the East Coast MMA kind of swag all the way to kind of being a real fashion brand?
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. The East Coast MMA stuff was fun, and we opened up. We had our own brand shirts when we opened the store, so that was something like from day one. We always had branded shirts from day one, but it wasn't. The idea wasn't to make a brand necessarily, or it was a slow build from that aspect. But but then we did some shirts that we did, like that Band Together shirt for the Legalized MMA in New York. Shirt that was one of the first concept shirts that we did. and that one did well for us. People liked that one. We sold a bunch of them, and as you know, when you make your own stuff, the margin is way better than when you're selling someone else's shirts. And then also, the countless times, like sometimes you have a shirt that does well from another company, and you can't even get it, when you need it and stuff. So that was kind of like the antithesis for trying to make more and more of our own stuff. And then it just kind of kept going and kept going. It was a slow build though. And now it seems like, it kind of happened. The people that just jump on, we've been doing this since the jump, but that's not the case. But so the stuff like you pulled up now, so actually I'll backtrack. So in the beginning we would get a shirt that we would do. I would probably hire a photographer. I would be there on the shoot. I would tell them what I want exactly, and they would pull the trigger and edit, and they would edit them for me. But then I started doing more of that stuff myself too, and I started picking up photography and stuff to the point where now I handle 90% of the photography for the store. So all the stuff you showed there is stuff that I shot, and that's like my favorite. It's like a
passion of mine now.
Yeah, that I started because of the store.
It's fantastic
and stuff. And then, but then now I have my buddy Brian, I love his photography as well. That he works with us too now because we have a little extra needs when it comes to just product shots and stuff. So now actually we just put him on. So now we're starting to build a content team. So we have Brian and Alan who does our video, and I work real close with those guys. They're more than just people that work with me. They're friends of mine. And like the other day we just broke into a warehouse, an abandoned warehouse, to do a shoot, and that was so much fun. You know what I mean? But until the cops came and told us to leave, but very nicely though. They're very nice. But
the video you're putting out is really first class.
Oh, Alan's the best. Yeah. This one coming up is to be even better. He just got his new camera. But so we did the band together stuff, and we would do Superare Jiu-Jitsu shirts. East Coast MMA Jiu-Jitsu shirts and Muay Thai shirts, and they always did very well. But it was hard to just having those stores and the requirements for all the spending I had to do with other brands, to kind of make sure that the gear was on point. That it was harder to always sometimes make some of those shirts. But we did it organically. Supply and demand type thing. And then we just, once we kind of flipped the switch to Superare, that was really a game changer for us as far as now we have something that we could we have really good foundation now, to brand around, to really build around. Because at that point, right before that, we had just released our first collection of gear. And we didn't really know what even to call it. We had our own boxing gloves and we didn't really have a name for them. We just had the skull logo for us. And it was kind of just that, and ECMMA gear, and it's hard to market MMA gear, an MMA company that literally has MMA in the name to someone who boxes, because they just assume it's UFC at that point. And so I learned that lesson as well. And so Superare was all inclusive to everybody. It wasn't just MMA, I guess you would say. So it was boxing. The boxing guys could buy in, which they have, and the jiu-jitsu guys and the MMA guys and the Muay Thai guys, and just people that like clothing.
Yeah, it's So streetwear, sneaker culture, hype beast kind of thing.
Hey, a lot of people always walk around and they come in they think it's Supreme because people are so and stuff. So I was no, we're Superare, But yeah, so that just building that, and also we were at that point when we started Superare, we knew we were opening up in LA, because this is a couple of years after having the city store, and so we couldn't call the LA store East Coast MMA, so we had to figure something out. So I was just it was a process to come up with the word Superare.
Yeah.
But it worked out well. Once we heard it, we kind of knew that was the one, and we haven't looked back since. And it just kind of, now we're just building it from there. And, I still East Coast MMA feels like lifetimes ago. It wasn't even a thing.
Yeah.
But it was, it's important to, when we have these conversations to acknowledge it. But other than these conversations, it never comes up otherwise.
Well, listen, it's foundational and building blocks. And, for the purposes of a business podcast, it's important to know the come up.
Sure, 100%.
I remember, I think you tell me you like to listen to how I built this podcast, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
100%. It's definitely important. And then, what was I going to say? We kept the skull logo as well from the East Coast MMA days to have some more brand continuity and stuff for the people that had been there. And and as like a nod to like those years and everything like that, and going forward and stuff like. So yeah, it's not, but just talking about it's like kind of like a memory lane type thing, because we're like full steam ahead for the future and what's next and everything like that. So that's always my mindset.
You guys made it through COVID. I think I read a few days ago in Barron's that 155,000 small businesses have closed, never coming back.
Shame.
Of
No,
course,
it's terrible.
Legendary brands this week alone, Century 21, bankrupt, out of business. Brooks Brothers is gone and sold, but in its current iteration gone. And Lord and Taylor and Macy's and Barney's, and the list goes on and on and on. So you guys, you put up a picture on Facebook of the LA riots, and they smashed and broke into your store and took everything. Like, what was that like?
So we well, just to preface it, like we fully support like the movement, like the idea behind the heart behind the movement, like that change needs to happen and stuff. So we're on board with that 100%.
Yeah.
And it's tough because I get why people are rioting, because they're upset. You know what I mean? Like, well, not everybody. Some people are rioting because to be opportunistic, and I could. Looking at the cameras during that thing, like that's very clear, because a lot of people like do. But for the most part, the reason why civil unrest is happening and the reason why, the situation was what it was is because people were upset. So I totally get that, and that's bigger than the store, and that's whatever. And then we thought we kind of we personally we thought we got lucky, like as far as because they that night they had instituted a curfew at 8 p.m. in LA, and 8 p.m. came and. We were okay because we thought people would start like dispersing, because we knew that shit was getting crazy right around us. And we're like, oh man, like I think we'll be all right. And then like 8:05 came by, and like someone kind of like looked at our store and then took a hard look, and then started like ripping down the gate. Then a couple of people joined them, and then that was like I was shaking so much just watching it. But it was funny though, not funny, but what. That's the wrong word, but like what the build up to them breaking in was very nerve wracking. I was shaking so much, and like just from sheer nerves. But then when they actually got in there, I got really calm, because then I was just watching something. Actually, I wasn't worried about something happening because it was already happening. So I was just watching it happen and just kind of and hoping for a bit, like hoping it wouldn't be too bad. And actually, like from all intents and purposes, we were really lucky. We actually ended up being really lucky. They took whatever they took, but they didn't really damage the store other than like the door, like the glass door, the window, like for the door to get in. Yeah. So the actual damage to like custom fixtures, like the kind of stuff that's hard to replace, was very minimal. Like they took our iPad, you know what I mean, like that kind of stuff, and then like product. But as far as like we have like really cool murals in the store, so they didn't destroy the mural. They didn't destroy anything custom that we built. You know what I mean? And then other stores on the block on Melrose over there got like burnt down, or like completely devastated. So we just kind of counted ourselves lucky, and we were able to board up that we got someone to board it up that night, and that was that. You know what I mean? Like it didn't happen again. And and then we have insurance and stuff like that. So it's what was going on socially, paled in, our issues paled in comparison to like the bigger picture, but it was hard to watch. What I mean? It was, like it was hard to watch. So like, and I never had to deal with anything like that before. So it was, it was interesting. So like recently there was some more stuff started popping up again. So we were a little more proactive. So we just closed a little earlier that day. We have a different gate now because the other one came. So I think we're hopefully a little more protected, but at the end of the day, it sucks that it had to happen, that people had to riot and do all that kind of stuff.
To watch the footage that you put up on social media, I think you have a really good attitude about it. I feel the same way. I want positive change in our country. I want to end police brutality. I want to support Black lives, but as a business owner, watching your business get destroyed, this is how you feed your family. And thank God it wasn't worse, but there could have been worse. You could have had employees there. You could have been there. And so I personally can compartmentalize those two things. You know, I on one hand can support social change, and on the other hand, I can also, by the way, I could support good police officers, and I can also condemn the guy that killed George Floyd is a murderer.
100%.
You know,
people don't understand nuance a lot, like, especially right now with everything going on.
Yeah.
Everything's very polarizing.
Yeah.
And
I think for you, I felt like for you, Zach, when I watched that, my heart broke, and we avoided it.
Yeah.
Mixology, thank God. But I was terrified. You know, when phase 1 happened or phase 2, and my employees started going back into the Manhattan store, and there were still riots and looting happening.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I didn't know if I should open the store, and so now I had to pick between opening the store, paying rents, and closing because my employees are in danger. And that was just like you. I was shaking.
Yeah.
That was a terrible feeling.
Yeah. No, we boarded up the city store, and we closed until, you know, things normalized. You know, like there was a big, you know, like it popped really high, just like it did in LA and New York with Soho, and we're right next door to Soho.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we just kind of, we were more proactive in Manhattan than we were reactive in LA, because we didn't expect that to happen in LA, because there was no precedent for us, at least in LA or anywhere really, to look for the signs for that kind of stuff. And you know, like we did the collab with Dope. I mean, Dope got leveled. They're still not open and stuff. So like, because they're right on Fairfax, where everything really jumped off to begin with. So like I said, we count ourselves lucky. We were able to open up a week later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and stuff. So it was okay. And then the community rallied behind us too, because they saw, you know, what happened, and you know, the community in LA is great. Just like the Long Island community welcomed us when we opened, and the New York community and the tri-state area community welcomed us when we did the store. The LA community has been the same way. So they showed up right afterwards to kind of support the store too. So we really have no complaints. You know, all's well that ends well type thing. And it was a shitty night for sure to watch that happen, but we're better business owners as a result of it. And like I said, we understand, you know, this stuff should affect everybody, and, you know, kind of on some level. It affected us more than I'd like it to affect other people, but people should feel some kind of, you know, it's an uncomfortable situation. It should be for everybody.
Yeah.
Kind of. So like,
you have a good attitude about it. I appreciate you saying those things because, you know, you and I both, we have a lot of African-American Black friends, and we want to be there for them. And so it's hard to watch your business potentially crumble, like in the case of Dope and so many others, and also be on the side of change. So, but there's only one answer. I mean, things have to change for the better, and I think that they will. So listen, what's next for the business? What do you got planned? I see a very exciting collaboration coming up, or I don't know if it's a collaboration or a line that you're doing, the Italian brand?
That's a line. So that we have a workshop, I guess. It's more of like I wouldn't call it like a factory,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like a workshop that we have in Italy now, in like Tuscany. That's like that's making the nicest boxing gear that, you know, like you can imagine, with like a nice leather, and you know, they're not doing it for all these different brands and stuff. They're just, you know, working with us and stuff. So yeah, we're gonna roll out our first ever made in Italy boxing line. That's like pure boxing. It's not like,
so cool.
It's like pure boxing. So it's like pure boxing gloves, headgear, which we've never done before.
Yeah.
2 different kinds of headgear, groin guards, and really primo stuff. Like we did like logos that's special for them. For this line, that's like, you know, like real like Italian brand, like almost like Formula One type logos. And
yeah, that's what it reminds me of. Or like soccer. Yeah. Did you design that logo?
So, no, not the actual. So it was like a collaborative effort from like an idea standpoint.
Yeah.
But then like so I work with my buddy Jay from Bangarang. He does the brand Bangarang a lot.
Yes.
And he's a much better artist than I am, like actual like artist. So sometimes I'll have a concept or something, and like I'll give Jay like some notes that are, you know, a little erratic or whatever like that, and he'll, you know, through trial and error, you know, he usually nails it for me and stuff. So yeah, Jay definitely. As far as the polished logo is concerned, that's Jay. I give him notes, and we, you know, but that was a collaborative one for sure. And he killed it. He kills a lot of, you know, he's a very good artist. But that whole look to that line, and that whole like the quality of our, to be honest, the quality of our other gloves are really nice too. But this is like small batch, like just we're not making a lot. per run, but they're going to be really nice, really primo stuff, and like so that I'm super excited about getting those in. What was I going to say? We do have cool collaborations coming. We do have some cool like special edition gloves coming from our normal manufacturer that I'm really excited about. Just getting better with as far as the gear. Like the game has changed. Like for us, like the goals are different now. It used to be the best fight shop in the world, and like that, we're there now. We'll still work to maintain that title.
Yeah.
We'll defend. We'll be we'll keep defending that title for the best fight shop in the world.
Yeah.
But like we're gonna jump weight classes now. No, we're gonna be double and triple champs because we're gonna look to be like the top brand in boxing. Like I want to have pros wearing our gloves in the ring. Start making fight gloves, and like it's not gonna happen overnight, just like the store didn't and everything like that. But some of these brands are noticed. Yeah.
Be the official clothing sponsor of the UFC or of a boxing promotion. Your stuff is on par. It has better commercial appeal than Venom. I
like Venom too, and good for them for getting the UFC UFC deal. That's huge for them and stuff.
Yeah,
they're such a globally big company, but they're just a different aesthetic than ours. But that really works for Venom though, because they have their own customer that doesn't necessarily like our stuff like as much.
Yeah.
Like they like the Venom look, like that's, and they do really well with it. So I respect what they've done. So we're actually, they're kind of I respect a lot of the things Venom done. They're actually a good person to like look towards like this because they've came from like they've built it up from nothing too, and they're kind of a global powerhouse.
Mixed martial arts brand for fight wear, but I don't. There's no crossover appeal.
No, I don't think so. They'd probably beg to differ, but I personally don't think so. But that's just like a difference in aesthetic.
Yeah.
So like, but that kind of stuff, like, and then being able with the Italian stuff to make like custom gloves and fulfill custom orders, because we're one of the few stores in the world that sell winning boxing gear, which is very hard to find. But if people want, we will still continue to sell winning because we love the brand. But if someone wants a custom pair of winning gloves, it'll be very expensive and it'll take like 8 months sometimes to get the stuff.
Wow.
But with us, we could turn around a custom order in like a month, and quality's not going to be that different. Like it's going to be nice, and so that's exciting for me just to be able to put that kind of stuff out there. And then as far as the collabs, like with the Ali and Bruce Lee stuff, we're going to continue to scale those, and we got some big plans and stuff. Especially with Ali, like with collaborations. As far as like we did the one like I'm wearing now, this is like the Ring Magazine Ali collaboration we did, which is
let me pull it up. I actually had the Ali pulled up ready to share.
This one's awesome. Like I love this. So like Ring Magazine's been around since like the 1800s, and their covers are like iconic, especially their old ones in like the 70s and 60s.
Yep.
So the video, that's actually one of my favorite videos we ever did, was the whole like little documentary one we did with Doug Fisher, the editor of Ring Magazine.
Yeah.
Just talking about how great Ali was for just their boxing and the magazine in general, and to be able to work with them on a collab was great. We worked with Gleason's on an Ali collab. We'll and then we're going to step it up a little bit with the Ali collabs and stuff. We got some cool ones planned.
And this jacket was phenomenal. The inside was the old flyer poster, and then you took his robe and you made this gear. It really was beautiful stuff. It is beautiful. It's still,
yeah. It's going to just keep getting better though.
Right before COVID, we were talking about this, and I was so inspired by how you brought this, you breathed life into this collection, and it's I didn't even know that you could go. I never thought to go out and get a license like this and then be so artistic with it. And you did such a good job on it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
the new Bruce Lee stuff actually is like. I'm really happy with the next Bruce Lee stuff we have coming. It's a lot different than our first drop, and definitely want to say kind of set ourselves apart more with that kind of stuff, and then just our own clothing as well. And then more partnerships like we did with Dope, trying to work with other brands. Like, I swing for the fences sometimes with these collabs, and it doesn't we're not quite there yet, I guess, for some of these brands that I've reached out to. Like I really wanted, I reach out to every brand that you probably like. I've probably reached out to, and then, somewhere, we'll we'll get there. We'll get there. Like some of these,
Listen,
like I really,
talk about that.
we have one though. We have one coming out before the holiday that we're going to announce soon. That is definitely.
I want to include, in my book, and you just nailed something so important. You reached out to so many. There's going to be a young entrepreneur watching this video. There's going to be someone who's going to read the chapter of the book, and they think that, oh, I called this guy one time and he didn't get back to me. So what? So what? You got to make 100 phone calls. How many? You just said you reached out to all these brands to try to do collabs. You're trying to punch above your weight, but out of that,
definitely way above our weight, and stuff. But I'll share one of them that I've given you. It hasn't been easy, but I keep trying. Is I have a really cool concept for like a Timberland glove and stuff like that. That'd be sick. It'd be so sick. And I found like Timberland corporate, and I called different people and I found one dude on LinkedIn who set me up with like another, like the guy, I guess, but he's kind of been ignoring me a little bit. So I gotta keep working on this dude. And but it's fine. It's fine. When it happens, it'll be that much sweeter.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I guess. But the one we do have coming out, I'm super excited about. Like it's really nice actually. It's right. Honestly, I think it's right on par with some of the Italian stuff we're doing. But that'll come out, and it's like a cool vintage set, like a whole set, like really, it's nice. And but it's with a brand that's been around from like the 1800s, and stuff. And then there'll be, like I said, but that'll licensing. What I've learned about licensing is it's kind of like a leverage game. And like you work with one person, you could leverage that into working with someone else. And so I guess it's just gotta play the game and take time. Because I don't know anybody. Like we figure all this stuff out from nothing. Like it's not like we have like a big Rolodex of all these different connections and everything like that can open these doors. And the ones we do have, have been great. But I don't know. We're figuring it all out still. We're just figuring different stuff out now.
It's the most beautiful music to my ears, because people look at people that have had success like yourself and they think it was handed to them, or that they just got to this point, and they don't realize the come up, the struggle, the phone calls, the sleepless nights, the video games in the store when no customers show up. It's not a straight line to doing these kind of collaborations, but what you've done, you've actually done what you said you were going to do. You came out with these beautiful collections, beautiful art. You got the shop in Tuscany to make it. Most people just have the idea. Oh, I want to make something in Italy. I've got this great idea for a blah blah blah.
Oh yeah, then I want to shoot it with a Ferrari, and then so I put it out there. And now we have a Ferrari for the photo shoot for the Italian gloves and stuff like that. So
nice.
we got, and then like with the Ali video, we got the actor Frank Grillo to be in the video, just because we asked him. I was like, I don't know, Frank's way too big for us, but like, let me hit him up, and just, it can't hurt to ask. Worst he could say is no and be polite. And he was like, yeah, fuck yeah. He goes, I love you guys. So then we just heard like a comedian buddy of ours wants to wear a Superare shirt for his Netflix special. You know what I mean? So that'd be cool. So that'd be dope if that happens. And then like, now we're like outfitting some gyms some gyms that we've been fans of for a long time, with like, we're doing their bags for their gym. And then another thing I'm excited about is making our Superare brand boxing shoes. You know what I mean? So like, that's a whole different world we're gonna get in. So like, but that's kind of like my job now, is the new business development stuff. Like that's my thing now, is that, and then the sourcing for that, and then the sampling, and then the tweaking, and then the marketing. And like, that's like, I don't even really mess with I'm at the stores a lot. It's more of like from like an office reason though, like instead of like front facing like I used to be and stuff. But I still like dealing with the customers though. Like customers to me are like, I'm still the best salesperson in the store. Like, I hope Dylan watches this, and other people who work for me watch this, and just know that I'm still better than every single one of you.
Listen, I hope the founder is always supposed to be. But you didn't start by doing sourcing and partnerships. You started with sweeping and greeting me at the door and sitting there, and you and I talking about mixed martial arts and BJJ. And
sure.
That's so fantastic. I just want to make sure I hit on everything that I wanted to get to with you. It's such an impressive story. Do you guys think you're going to open more stores? Maybe Miami?
So like, some people ask us about Miami a lot. Actually, it's funny. So like,
It's a hub for MMA.
maybe one day, who knows? But right now, like, so like owning a fight shop and like not wanting someone to come in and like infringe on your thing is kind of like I believe in that, because so there is a fight shop in Miami that I know, like I kind of know the guy. I don't know him that well, but I know the guy, and he's been here before. I've met him. He's a nice guy, and like I wouldn't want to do that. You know what I mean? Like from that, like first of all, opening a store right now with everything that's going on, not on my list. Our goal is to grow the website, grow the brand as a whole, and kind of see where that takes us organically.
Yeah.
But I'm like more than Miami, like London. I think like London makes more sense, or like or something like that. Like if we could really like get ambitious and stuff. But Miami could be cool for like a pop up, and just to kind of like see what goes on there, and like a sick pop up, because we had some like the mall properties like reach out to us about maybe doing something like that. But like that could be cool for like short term type thing. But like with the store that's over there, they're cool enough where I wouldn't want to get into one of those things. Like in LA, we have other fight shops out there. Like I don't really even consider them other fight shops, because it's like a different kind of, it's a whole different business. Like their store, not to be disparaging, but it looks like my stock room right here. You know what I mean? So like if like the people viewing this who don't know the store don't know what like our front face looks like, but it looks like if you walked into like a
I'm gonna show them right now, because it's
like a high-end sneaker boutique or something. But
I have it pulled up because it's so next level, your store. This is your LA store.
That's cool. The mural is cool. Yeah, well, that's the mural we did after the riots and stuff. When we put up the new fence, we had our buddy do a new mural. The mural's great, actually. So now the store is really cool, even when it's closed.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, like I said, this is always the first place that I start with a lot of entrepreneurs, because they say things like, I don't have the money to invest in a sign. And I said, if you don't have the money to build a sign, you don't have the money to open up a store. You have to go get that money, because you must make your face the first thing that people see. They're driving down the road and you're opening a store and it says Fight Shop, and it pulls Chris Weidman in on day one.
Yeah,
you knew it. Yeah. It's such an important part of being, having a small business, but it's also a metaphor. You want to make sure that you are going out into the world and marketing your business, whether it's with social media or your website or a Facebook page, whatever it is. That is the metaphorical having a great sign, and you have a great sign, literally.
Thank you. For you guys, I know with us opening the store, Facebook was a big thing for us. Because it was before it was all pay to play and everything was organic. Like if people were like, I'd post something and everybody who followed us would see it. And anytime I spent I could spend $10 on ads and get a good return. Did you guys have like a similar like come up with mixology and stuff, like where with or kind of where things like with like Facebook marketing, or did that work for you guys too? Or?
Facebook and Instagram marketing is a huge part of our digital. I have a massive budgets for our digital spend. Instagram for the first few years was lightning. I mean, our first 10 or 15,000 followers were so engaged. It wasn't an aesthetic then. It wasn't cool. People weren't putting things up. We just posted our new arrivals.
Yeah, that's what we did too.
Every day, the moms would come into our stores with their cell phones. I think even BlackBerries at the time, and they'd be like, "My daughter's in class and she wants this."
Sure.
And then we lost our way on Instagram for a few years there, and Facebook became bigger and better. But truly what always set us apart was our stores and our physical locations. That was where we made our big investments, and we were in Class A shopping centers and like amazing downtown areas and very wealthy zip codes. And so our website was a kind of like a lookbook, an ancillary shopping point.
That was how I treated it until we got Ali, like in like last year, like November time, like 2018. That's kind of, I did the same thing. Like it was always like secondary to our stores. Yeah. And like whatever we sold online was just bonus.
Right.
And that's kind of how we treated it. But now that's like, especially like we invested pretty heavily in rebuilding our website pre-COVID, which has paid off dividends during COVID and got us through the whole entire, the website now is, even from a sales standpoint, now it's trumped. I hate that word now. Now it's above the New York City store it's above the New York City store, even before COVID and stuff, which is impressive. I didn't think it. Now it just that's just now with all the other stuff like the Italian stuff and the shoes and everything like that. Now that's like now it's now we gotta start working. So
let's end it on that because you just nailed it. And we are my business, Mixology Clothing Company, is in the same boat. We made massive investments before COVID, and it made us bulletproof. I knock on wood during COVID because we were ready. We were ready.
I'm glad to hear.
We were ready.
To catch up. You got to tell me more about just like what's going on with you, because it's been about me.
Yeah.
You got to come by and see me in Long Island and just tell me what's going on about you.
I absolutely will. I'll come up to catch up with you. And but today is all about you, and we'll absolutely catch up. And we have some other things to catch up on. You told me you brought in Margot, who is one of my retail consultants, and now you're working with her. I call everything that has ever good happens in my business, I call a Margot moment, because Margot was the first person I hired that really transformed my business in January of 2012.
Cool.
2013, excuse me. So, but anyway, listen, Zach, you can find Zach at Superare Fight Shop, superareshop.com. Your Instagram handle is Superare Shop. And it has been a pleasure having you on.